Okay, hi everybody. Um, it's been a pretty long time now, about 7 or 8 months, and I guess you must be wondering what's been happening to me in all of that time. Um, well, quite a few things. Well, concerning my school life, I guess, which is where most of my time is spent right now. Um, I finished the first years of my master's degree in computer science. Um, I got all A's in all of my courses, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. Um, but what you probably want to know about is my transition. Yeah, that hasn't been going as well as I would have liked, unfortunately. Um, yeah, so going back about 9, 10 months in the past, I had been on hormones for like 12 months, and my feminization was going, I guess, okay. Wasn't as nice as I would have liked. I really barely had any breast growth even after a year, but I was getting, to be fairly passable, and I was most mostly satisfied with that. But what was really bothering me is that, um, well, I knew that after staying on hormones, for too long, I was going to become permanently sterile. And as a matter of fact, after like 10 months on hormones, I just didn't really get any erections anymore, and didn't really seem to have any sperm anymore. So I was really uncomfortable with that. I've always kind of wanted to have children someday. Not now, but at some point in the future. And the idea of just not being able to have children of my own was kind of bringing me down. It was holding me back. So I decided to get off the hormones to try and freeze sperm at a fertility clinic. So I got off the hormones about 10 months ago now, I think. Well, I'm not sure, whatever. But I got off the hormones, and I thought to myself, well, I'm gonna get off the hormones, and I should be, off the hormones for about a month, and hopefully my fertility will come back, and I'll be able to know for sure, very rapidly, whether I'm permanently sterile or not. And then if I'm not sterile, I can freeze sperm, and not have to worry about this anymore. And well, if I'm sterile, I can at least, tell myself, well, you don't really have to worry about getting sterile now. You already are. But yeah, so, well, first of all, a lot of people, were telling me, you probably shouldn't even bother getting off the hormones because you probably are sterile after that much time on them. Some people get permanently sterile after 6 months on hormones. But personally, I had never heard of anybody who became permanently sterile from the hormones. I never had any accounts of that. I mean, people who try to get off the hormones to try to regain their fertility, because I guess most transsexuals, once they're on hormones, they just don't stop. It's not something you want to do. So most people, I guess, they take hormones, and as long as they keep taking them, they are effectively sterile, but maybe not permanently so. They just don't want to bother getting off the hormones to find out because it's very unpleasant. But anyways, so I wanted to try anyways, and I got off the hormones. I consulted with a specialist, and he said, well, the time it takes for sperm cells to come to maturity is 3 months from the start to the end of the spermatogenesis cycle. So you should get off the hormones for a whole 3 months, and we should be able to know then if you're sterile or not. So while that was kind of disappointing, he was telling me 1 month is not going to be enough. You need to be off for like 3 months, you know. And I did get fertility test done after a single month, and I had a sperm count of zero, nothing. So that was kind of scary. And after about 2 months of the hormones, I was I was already getting a lot of acne. I think you can still see some on my forehead. It's pretty bad, I think. It was even worse back then. And I was getting, I spent so much money on laser hair removal. And when I got off the hormones, the facial hair came back like, a lot of it came back. It became thicker and blacker. And I was becoming a lot more masculine very quickly. And it was really, really painful for me. And yeah, around that time, well, I stopped making videos because I didn't really want to be seen on video, and even now it was kind of difficult to bring myself to do this. But anyways, long story short, after 3 months my fertility came back, but it's fairly low. It was sperm count of something like 5 million sperm cells per milliliter, which is actually pretty low, but probably sufficient for something like in vitro fertilization, which is very expensive, by the way. But anyways, they advised that maybe I would want to wait up to 6 months off the hormones in the hope that my fertility would go up. But after that, I wouldn't really have to wait anymore because probably would have reached its peak. So I did wait the full 6 months, 7 months in total actually. My fertility did not augment more after 6-7 months than it did after 3 months. So I just said, well, screw that, I'm not waiting anymore. Because these people, they'll always tell you, well, your fertility is not satisfactory, maybe you can wait another 3 months. Maybe you can wait another 3 months, it can go on forever. So I just said, well, I'll just freeze now. So that took about a month and a half in itself because I froze quite a few samples. I froze 9 in total because, well, the logic was that my fertility is pretty low, but if I can freeze more sperm, I can actually have enough for like 3 to 4 attempts at artificial insemination. So yeah, I went through the sperm freezing process, and it's good because now, well, I'm a bit more reassured about the whole fertility issue. It's no longer really a problem. Well, I'm a little bit worried still, but it's kind of reassuring to know that you have some sperm at the sperm bank and you're protected in that area. So then I had to take an appointment with my doctor to get back on the hormones, but during my time off the hormones, I found myself a girlfriend. Her name is Erin, and I love her very much. And yeah, so getting on the hormones was a bit worrying for me because, well, we have what's called a sex life, and hormones, especially anti-androgens, they kind of kill your sex drive in most cases. So I was kind of scared about that. So I set out to try a new anti-androgen, well, one I hadn't tried before, which is called Proscar, which doesn't work like the other anti-androgens. It doesn't block your testosterone, it blocks what's called DHT, which is like the most active form of testosterone. So I set out to try that. Unfortunately, it didn't work as far as feminization went, and my natural acne actually got worse on Proscar. So then I said after like a month and a half to try this other anti-androgen, which is similar to Proscar but more efficient. It's called Avodart. So I tried that too for 3 weeks. The acne got slightly worse still, which is really annoying. And so I got pissed off at those two anti-androgens, and I decided to go back, at least temporarily, to AndroCure, 25 milligrams a day. And today is my 3rd day on AndroCure. I'm kind of dissatisfied with that because, yeah, I haven't found the perfect anti-androgen, and I'm afraid there are none. But at least I know AndroCure works as far as feminization is concerned, which is reassuring. But I'm a bit worried because AndroCure tends to make me tired and depressed. I've spoken about that in my previous videos. But some people said actually that after a while I can cut down the dose to 12.5 milligrams a day, which is a quarter of a pill, and it might just be enough. So I might just do that once I feel the medication is efficient. But that's where I'm at now. well, concerning my sex life, yeah. Um, the androgens did reduce my sex drive, so I'm still kind of adapting to that. So far, I still do have a sex life, which is good, but I don't know how things are going to go in the future. It still kind of worries me. You know, transition is so complicated, and it's hard to be in love with someone when you're transitioning because you're changing all the time, and you always have to adapt, and your partner also has to adapt to the changes in you, and sometimes it's very difficult. There's difficulties, and you have to work through them. Communication is very important. Yeah, so this is where I am. I got back on hormones about 3 months ago now, and this is my third day on Androcure, which should work as far as feminization goes. Um, in terms of estrogen, I changed. I'm not on estrate right now. I wanted to try Premarin, so my doctor prescribed 7.5 milligrams Premarin. I might actually go back to estrate because it seems to be safer. I just want to see if Premarin will be more effective in terms of feminization. So I'll see as time goes by. Yeah, and yeah, I got an interesting job this summer. Um, I'm I've actually been teaching a class, Introduction to Java Programming, at my university. The pay is pretty good. It's nice, and I think it's a really nice thing to put on my CV. It's been a fun experience being a teacher. So yeah, school's been going well. My love life finally began, I guess. I never was with someone before, so this is new to me. I guess, I don't know, in a way I feel kind of lame for losing my virginity at 22 years old. But, you know, it's better late than never. And, I don't know. Ah, at least I lost my virginity with someone who is experienced and it went rather well, you know, rather than doing this in a very stressful environment with somebody that you'll never see again. Yeah. So in a sense, I got pretty lucky. And yeah, my girlfriend is fully supportive of my transition. She's very understanding, and she wants to stay with me through this, which is I think something that most people don't necessarily have. A lot of trans people, you know, they go through transition and their partners leave them. So I'm pretty lucky in that area. So yeah, I guess this will be the end of my first beauty blog. Unless there's anything else I should talk about right now. Okay, so I'm going to continue in my transition process for the moment. I feel I look pretty masculine right now. I don't know if you people see a difference, see much of a difference, apart from the acne that you can probably see on this video. When I stopped hormone, I became a lot less passable very quickly, you know. I was getting to be passing fairly well in nightclubs when I went out and stuff, and in the street people were, you know, referring to me using feminine pronouns and stuff in my daily life. But at the time, this is not really happening anymore. And I have to say, it's been extremely painful getting off hormones. If I can make a recommendation to you, it's if you're remotely considering the possibility of having children someday and you want to transition, you should absolutely freeze sperm before you go on hormones. It's actually not as expensive as you might think it is. You know, for me, it's only like $500 for 3 samples, and then it's $100 per year to keep it frozen at the clinic I go to. So that's really not very much. And I regret not having done this before I got on hormones because trust me, getting off hormones is really painful. Like I feel like I've lost a lot of what I had acquired in terms of feminization, and I lost some amount of time It's been a very painful experience, you know, like you get used to being on hormones, you get used to feeling that you're progressing in your transition, and then, you know, getting off hormones for me was a huge setback. I felt like I regressed, you know, I went back to the way my life was before, and even worse in a way, because before transition, you know, I I kind of accepted that I was living my life as a guy, but when you're pretty far in your transition and you're starting to, you know, dress more feminine every day, and then you start becoming more masculine, it's really bad. And I actually stopped dressing as feminine as I did before because I didn't really feel confident enough anymore. So yeah, if you're remotely considering the possibility of having children someday and you're trans, please just freeze sperm before you get on hormones if you're not already on the hormones, because you know it might save you a lot of trouble. Stopping hormones is not something you want to do. When you start hormones, you want to keep going, you want to make sure you never have to stop. So that's my piece of advice for all the transsexuals here that are around my age and that are considering having children. You know, please do what's necessary. Don't make the same mistake I did. Yeah. And you know, so some transsexual people, you know, I told people I was getting off hormones and stuff like that, and all the difficulty I was going through, and some people have been telling me, well, why do you want to free sperm? You know, I'll just adopt. You know, why don't you just adopt? And I don't know if you people realize, but okay, I'm in Canada here. Maybe the situation's not the same in the US, but to adopt a child here costs a lot of money, and there's a huge waiting line. You know, and they're very selective about the people that they let adopt children. You know, you have to be like a straight married couple that's really financially capable for them to let you adopt a child, and then they put you on a waiting list for up to 7 years. You know, so don't think you can just go to a store and come back out with a child. You know, adoption is just not that easy, unfortunately. You know, so actually having children of your own using sperm frozen in a sperm clinic might actually be cheaper and easier, so you might want to think about that. So yeah, anyways, this will be the end of my first video blog. I I plan on making more. I told you last time that I would make a video about how to get yourself a boyfriend if you're a trans person. I still have some things to say about that, so I'll see you next time.